Hey everyone, and welcome back. So a massive Square Enix sale has just hit the Nintendo Switch eShop, and it's across all regions. US, Canada, Europe, UK, Australia, they're all on sale right now. And some of their best games are hitting brand new low prices in this sale. So I decided to cover this separately from everything else with my top 10 picks from this sale. Now this is part of the new content I promised on the channel, and we'll be doing it in a much more rapid fire format. Now as we jump in, don't forget to drop your comment down below to automatically be entered in the weekly $10 eShop gift card giveaway, which will now be announced every Wednesday in a community post. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already to help support the channel. As we jump into our first deal, I will be mentioning prices in US dollars. Regional equivalents will be just above on the screen. And that first game will be Triangle Strategy, hitting a brand new low of 60% off, $23.99. Now this game is a tactical RPG, very similar to what you could expect from Final Fantasy Tactics. The pixel art style here is fantastic, the gameplay is extremely addictive, and on top of it, there's an incredibly deep storyline. And at the same time, I do want to warn that because of how deep that storyline is, the game is pretty slow in the beginning. But I do promise if you stick it out, once things open up, the game is actually really incredible. And in my book, this is definitely a must-play game for any strategy RPG fans out there.
Think you can take it? I guarantee that you and the legacy of House Wolfwood are safe and secure.
Can you handle my might?
Now, while we're on the subject of tactical RPGs, my second game is also in that genre, and that is Tactics Ogre Reborn. That is 60% off, $19.99. Now, this is a remake, very faithful to the original, of probably one of the best strategy RPG games of all time. And I was actually really surprised how well this game stood up today with just a fresh coat of paint and some quality of life upgrades. Once again, this game combines beautiful pixel art, a great storyline, and extremely deep tactical gameplay. And it's yet again another must-have game for fans of the genre.
Harness the unique Chariot Tarot system to rewind a doomed battle and revise your strategy. Reborn and deeper than ever, dive into a tale.
Now at number 3 on our list, we have Nier Automata, the End of Yora edition. That's also hitting a brand new low of 60% off, $15.99. Now this game is an award-winning post-apocalyptic action RPG, and is truly one that revolutionized the genre with an absolutely fantastic storyline, rooted in an extremely emotional and thought-provoking subject, backed up with some fluid and really polished gameplay that really keeps you on your toes by constantly shifting things up and having you adapt to new situations. Not to mention that if you now have a Nintendo Switch 2, the game runs even better on that new system and definitely merits a second playthrough. And I'm pretty sure in the future, this game will be regarded as a staple of the action RPG genre and its evolution.
It was an honor to fight with you, truly.
On position number 4 on our list, we have Octopath Traveler that is back to 60% off, $23.99. Now this game is a traditional RPG that pretty much introduced us to the HD 2D art style. And that art style was so beautiful that it became a staple for future Square Enix games, especially remakes. But this game isn't just about pixel art beauty, it's also about a great storyline featuring 8 different protagonists, each going through separate but yet somehow united storylines. Now this is one of the games that proved that traditional RPGs still have their place in today's landscape. And when it's massively discounted like this, it's always an amazing pickup.
Secondary job. Doing so will allow you to equip new weapons and use new skills, opening up new strategies in battle. Character battles.
Now for spot number 5, we have its follow-up, Octopath Traveler 2, that is now also hitting a brand new low of 60% off, $23.99. Now this game follows the same basic concept as the first one, being a traditional RPG done in the beautiful HD 2D art style. And once again, you'll be introduced to 8 different protagonists following 8 different storylines that once again somehow become united. Ultimately, I would say definitely pick up the first one if you fall in love with the storyline and the gameplay concept, the second one becomes a must-have pickup.
Where will their journeys lead them and you?
Now coming in at number 6 on today's list, we have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion hitting a brand new low of 60% off, $19.99. Now this game serves as a semi-action RPG prequel to what is probably one of the most beloved and well-known RPGs of all time, Final Fantasy VII. Now in this game you're playing as Zack, who was relatively unknown before this game. But this game really does a great job of plugging some of the storyline holes from that original Final Fantasy VII, really filling in the gaps of how Cloud became Cloud and Sephiroth became Sephiroth. Not to mention that this game also features an improved battle system and vastly smoother gameplay than the original. So if you're a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, this game just might be the best pickup on today's list. At position number 7 on today's list, we have Dragon Quest III, the HD 2D remake, hitting a brand new low of 35% off, $38.99. Now we've already talked about the beauty of the HD 2D pixel art style, well this is yet again a great use of it. Remastering Dragon Quest III, one of the games that helped shape what we know now as turn-based RPGs. And this game was definitely a huge shift in the series after the first 2 games, which were much simpler. And I've got to say, if you've been waiting to experience RPG history and play through this game, this is definitely the way to do it. It's an absolutely great remake of the game that also fixes a lot of the localization issues that the original game had. And it really helps you fall in love with the Dragon Quest series all over again.
You must gather the orbs and take them to the shrine of the Everbird.
Use my blades to bring peace to the
Now while we're on the subject of Dragon Quest, at number 8 we have Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age that is back to 50% off, $19.99. Now if our previous game was a beautiful remake, this is probably the best original entry in the series, being one of the best examples of turn-based RPGs on any system. And when they say that this is the definitive edition, they aren't lying, with some great additions here, new content, and even the ability to play the game in pixel art version. Not only that, but you can actually flip between the 2 formats seamlessly. And I've got to say, content-wise, for $20, you are getting an amazing value here. This game can easily suck you in for more than 100 hours. So if you're a fan of turn-based RPGs, this game is definitely a no-brainer.
Dragon Quest Worlds.
Now coming in at number 9, we have Star Ocean, the second story R, that is now hitting a brand new low of 50% off, $24.99. Now if you're unfamiliar with the Star Ocean series, these games are action RPGs. And in my opinion, this series sometimes doesn't get the respect it deserves, really being one of the best Square Enix series overall. And the good news is that this is probably one of the best entries in the whole series. Once again, this game has everything you want from a great game in the genre. An absolutely beautiful 2.5D aesthetic, a great storyline, and a really great and fluid combat system. And as I said earlier, with this being one of the best entries in the series, if you've never played one before, this is a great introduction. And the good news is that if you fall in love with the series, you can always work your way backwards to the first one, which is also massively discounted.
And the more they accumulate, the more favorable effects they can bring to the party, such as increased attack power or maximizing...
Now taking up our last but definitely not least position on today's list, we have the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster Collection that's also hitting a brand new low of 35% off, $48.74. Now this game collection pretty much explains itself. It's a pixel remaster of the first 6 Final Fantasy games. And once again, it's the best way to play these 6 games, which pretty much is the most iconic RPG series of all time, at least for Western audiences. Now, I do want to mention at the same time that each one of the separate entries are also on sale separately at 35% off. So if ever you're a fan of only one or two of these games and you don't necessarily want to pick up the others, you can do that as well. But do be careful, because if you do end up wanting to pick up all 6, it will cost you more that way. Now, to close things out, I do want to mention that pretty much every other Square Enix game is also on sale. So if your favorite is not on today's list, I recommend you check it out. It might be on sale and it might be a great time to pick it up. Now, on the way out, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and just as usual, I'll see you in my next video.